Phil Holloway, former assistant district attorney, joining us now. Phil, what has struck you so far during this hearing?
Well, great to be with you, Sandra, as always. You know, considering the multitude of business entities that are connected to the Biden family, I forget the total number, but it's a lot, and the millions and millions and millions of dollars that are flowing into those businesses. Meanwhile, those businesses have no cognizable product that they can sell, no service that they can sell, nothing that you can attach all of this inbound revenue to. Given that fact, the only reasonable explanation that's left, logically, is influence peddling. And Joe Biden is the person with influence. He has been for decades the person with influence. So the Hunter team is doing their best to try to keep the dots from being connected to Joe Biden, but there's really nowhere else the dots could logically lead except to Joe Biden, because he is the brand. Joe Biden is the brand. He's the only thing that they can sell in terms of influence. And so this is where the committee is going. This is where the investigators are going. But the real effort is going to be to connect the dots, because Hunter, that we've seen so far, has done a very good job. At least he's made great efforts to try to prevent them from connecting the dots. It's just like not showing up today after he demanded the ability to come in person to testify. He basically says, no, there's no point in it now. You guys already had the opportunity to talk to me. It's obfuscation, and it's an effort to keep investigators from connecting this to Joe. But that's where it's headed. Joe has to be logically the brand that they are selling, that we can attribute all that revenue to.
Really interesting. From what you're seeing, you say that this is a well-orchestrated campaign to keep the investigators from connecting Hunter's business dealings to Joe. Before I move on, do you see any of that changing with this hearing today, Phil?
Oh, absolutely not. They're going to stay the course. You know, you've got just a few months left before the election. And so the game, if you will, is for them to sort of run out the clock to keep them from connecting this to Joe before the election. They're going to keep doing more of the same. Hunter Biden's not going to cooperate. You're going to see some degrees of cooperation from former business partners like Bubba Linsky, for example, people that, you know, have been besmirched by Hunter and his team, and they're tired of it. They're going to come forward and tell the truth. But to the extent that he can, Hunter's not going to cooperate one bit.
All right, so we'll keep watching that. Meanwhile, 5 days, that's how long former President Donald Trump has to fork over nearly $500 million, Phil, or risk losing his portfolio of assets. His lawyers this week say getting that much cash is, quote, a practical impossibility. Critics say New York Attorney General Letitia James' campaign promises of getting Trump shows this whole thing is personal and political. The former president agrees.
I built a great company, one of the greatest companies anywhere in the country, especially when it comes to real estate. Have some of the greatest assets in the world. And this is a rigged trial. This was a rigged trial by a crooked judge and a crooked attorney general. Billions of dollars in value, billions of dollars in properties, but they'd like to take the cash away so I can't use it on the campaign. And this is just a corrupt group of people. It's election interference.
In the days after the February decision, Phil, James made her intentions clear. Listen here.
We are prepared to make sure that the judgment is paid to New Yorkers. And yes, I look at 40 Wall Street each and every day.
So 40 Wall Street is one of Trump's most iconic New York City properties. And AG James could also take measure to seize assets outside of New York. So what are the former president's choices if he doesn't make bond by Monday? He can ask the state appeals court to pause the judgment, find a benefactor, or declare bankruptcy. What do you see happening, Phil?
Well, I remember sometime during, I think it was the first week of law school, we learned that when somebody loses a trial, they've got an absolute right to a direct appeal. What the judge has done, and I think it's preposterous, and quite frankly, it's I don't care what you think about Donald Trump. You ought to recognize this as being wrong. It's a weaponization of the justice system against a specific individual they're targeting. But he has a right, guys, to file an appeal. And the judge has built this in a way that he does not have the ability to exercise that right. So this is preventing him from his appeal that he has as a matter of right. This is the kind of thing that happens when you see prosecutors weaponizing the justice system. This is not unlike what's happening in Atlanta, where you've got prosecutors essentially campaigning on the platform that they're going to go after and get a specific citizen. So regardless of how you feel about Trump, you've got to recognize that this is wrong. This is akin to telling a condemned prisoner, yes, you can have your appeal, but only after we carry out the execution, of course, and then it's too late. But that's what's going on in New York.
I mean, in the next 5 days, I mean, James could start seizing these Trump assets, as we mentioned, beyond New York. I mean, what would that eventually look like if she moves in that direction? As all indications say that she just may.
Yeah, what would happen is if she liquidates everything, that's carrying out the death penalty, if you will, in terms of his business without him having the right to appeal. It's wrong. It's not how the system is supposed to work. And it's a perfect example of the weaponization, the wrongful weaponization of the justice system designed to go after one specific individual.
Well, more on the justice system. We've got an update now, Phil, from the judge. This just in, overseeing efforts to disqualify Fani Willis from the Georgia election interference case. That judge, we have just learned, has issued an order, Phil, allowing Trump and 8 co-defendants to seek appeal of the order denying disqualification of Willis. The Georgia Court of Appeals has 45 days to decide whether they will hear the case. That's obviously big news, Phil. Your reaction?
Yeah, it is big, and it's something that we've been following, of course, very closely here in the Atlanta area. The judge's order that's being appealed, in my opinion, is wrong. I think that he found, for example, that Willis wrongfully engaged in communications outside the courtroom. Basically, she went into the well of a church on Sunday, and she essentially called some of the defendants and their counsels racist, right? And so she is making public statements outside of the courtroom that are designed to impact the ability of these defendants to get a fair trial. So what's happened, the parties have appealed, and they have to do it's a two-step thing. They've got to get the judge who issued the order to agree to it, and as you mentioned, the Court of Appeals also has to agree to hear it. This is what we call an interlocutory appeal, a pre-trial appeal. Normally, you have to wait until after there's a conviction and then take every issue up that you think is an error, take it all up on appeal at the same time. But this issue is so important that you don't want to risk having a trial or multiple trials against all these defendants, potentially having convictions, and then have the Court of Appeals, after all is said and done, have them then say, you got it wrong. We're going to send it back for you to start over all again, and this time with a brand new prosecutor. So this procedure will prevent that type of situation from occurring.
Really interesting. That just in. Phil, thank you for coming on and responding to all of that. A lot to keep track of.
Always happy to be here.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.